I'm having a rough day, and I am fucking tired of wrestling with the monsters loose inside. So I fucking put myself live. Same way when someone's acting crazy and mistreating you and you pull out a camera and start recording. I got tired of this fucking nonsense. And so I put myself live. For the added pressure. So I'm sorry for anyone tuning in hoping for some sort of entertainment. I'm doing this one for myself and for anyone else like fucked up like me. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, I know you understand. And it's working. Oh, fuck. I just didn't have enough sleep for a couple days, a couple nights in a row. Seer Guru says none are. Take a nap, no one's okay. Fucking absolutely. That's what I want to do. I'm nocturnal normally. So the fact that I didn't go to sleep until 5 a.m. was normal. But I woke up at fucking 8 in the morning and could not get back to sleep. I spent 3.5 hours in bed trying to fucking calm myself down, get back to sleep. Too fucking tired to get up, unable to fall back asleep, just fucking battling shit inside. So I dragged my ass out of bed and thought maybe up out of bed I would do better. Getting shit under control, calm down, and go take a fucking nap. You're right, Guru. That's exactly what I need. And it wasn't working. So that's why I did this. I was like, fuck this. Like, two parts of myself. If you're going to fucking act like this, I'm going to put you on a live stream. And it's starting to work. And I don't recognize you from other streams, Seer Guru. So just in case, just in case someone's tuning in and wondering what the fuck I'm bitching about, I'm bipolar. So I'm talking about aspects of being bipolar. And Thomas says, go get a sleeping tablet from doctors. I have a prescription for sleeping pills and I take melatonin. When shit gets out of... All right, misspent youth. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to put out this cigarette. And do that instead. All right, what the fuck was I saying? Okay, so why my bipolar's out of control today? Not out of control, fucking... So fucking difficult to deal with today. is the 2 nights before last night, I didn't sleep well because I hosted a watch party day before yesterday for the channel. And that put a bit more stress on me than I thought it would. The night before it, I only got like 5 hours sleep. Then the watch party went fantastic. I really enjoyed it. But it's that whole thing of when you're naturally an introvert, but you have the ability to be an extrovert. You can go to a party and be very outgoing and have a great time, and then after your mood crashes. So the night after the party, I didn't fucking sleep well. Even though I took my sleeping pills, I took my melatonin, I still got only 5 hours sleep the night before last. And that was just still trying to cool down from the party. And so yesterday, and the problem with yesterday, I was doing self-care and shit. And then yesterday in the evening, last night, whatever, something to do with a real life situation that's very fucking difficult for me and that I'm not going to say any of the details of because the people in real life who know me, none of them agreed to have any of their shit talked about. So I'm not going to get into what it is. But for months now, I've been dealing with somebody making difficult, unnecessary fucking difficulties. And last night, it was just a small little fucking poke. But it just stirred up all the bullshit from the last however many fucking months. And with me already so overtired and my system kicked into that gear where I wasn't sleeping well enough. Yeah, that was what I woke up with. It wasn't anything to do with the two nights before when I woke up too early the day I was hosting the party. Yeah, it was the channel that woke me up. You know, out of my head, me and Grizz had to get it all set up and shit. And it was the stress of that got me out of bed. But today it was nothing to do with the fucking channel. It was real life problems. And those fucking 3 hours of lying in bed, too tired to get up, too fucking upset to go back to sleep, just all the fucking doors in my internal Arkham Asylum just swung open and all that nasty shit came out. I'm seeing a lot of new names here. So I don't know how many people I'm talking to just have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. So at the moment, I'm going to sort of talk to people who've been following my fucking rants for a while and know who I am. I'm just going to talk to that audience, and I apologize to anyone who's new who can't follow this. All right, so you know all that hippie bullshit I always talk about fucking loving your enemy and everyone's doing the best they can and fuck's sakes. And all that holier than thou bullshit about turning every attack into an opportunity to grow and develop yourself. That is still how I, as a Gestalt, choose to deal with this shit. Like, the Gestalt of me, the soul of me, the central sub-personality is still committed to that hippie fucking bullshit about dealing with this. But today, those fucking asshole parts of me, they have been hard to fucking put away. And they're behaving a little bit better now. They're on fucking camera. But they're not calmed right the fuck down. And so my head was full this morning of saying exactly like what all that shit I just said, saying like, look, all this hippie fucking bullshit, you've been doing this for months now, and what has it gotten you? You got poked in the fucking eye again last night. You're doing everything you can to make shit better. If they want to keep playing this game, let us the fuck out. We can show them what real fucking difficulties and problems are. But that's the reaction to shit that takes me backwards. Like, yeah, go ahead and fucking live by that. It'll feel righteous at first, especially if you're convinced that you're right and somebody else is wrong. And there's a fucking thrill to tearing shit down and going to war. But every time in the past I've latched onto that, makes things worse. And that hippie bullshit that I stick with makes things better. So I'm sorry about ranting there. I think my voice went up. Hopefully this little exercise in public embarrassment will calm me down enough I can go have a fucking nap after this. I'm sorry about using the channel for this if this wasn't a good idea. It is helping me. But I don't know that this is particularly good content to be putting out in the world. So, sorry, obviously, everything I've said up till now, I was not in a clear thinking state of mind when I came on live. So, if I shouldn't have, I apologize. And I'm not thinking clearly. So, somebody wiser than me at the moment, tell me whether I take this down after or if this is fucking useful to any other nutcases. Sorry, I don't want to be derogatory to anyone else. This is useful. Yeah, let me know if I should leave this or take it down immediately after. I'm going to check now and see what people have been writing. Guru says, I feel you. I've taken a nap and sleeping pill at 10 a.m. Yes, that's the problem. If I go take a nap now, I don't want to take a sleeping pill or anything in the like this is the equivalent of morning to me on my usual cycle. I don't want to take a sleeping pill to get to sleep now because that'll fuck me up later. And I can't take prescribed sleeping pills every night. They're fucking addictive. But like, yeah, I can't use a sleeping pill this afternoon. I'll either nap naturally or I'll fucking go like a zombie through the day until because I don't want to fuck up my long-term sleeping schedule. Okay, and so Guru says my daughter's bipolar, my son's autistic. I get it. Okay, cool. All right, so Maxim Red says, I've been having a rough couple of weeks. Didn't do anything except eat and smoke weed yesterday. I woke up and changed my day by making my bed, cleaning everything in the house, and working out. Feel a lot better. Fuck yeah, Maxim Red. Good for you. And that's all excellent fucking advice. I'm too fucked up to follow that. Like, I can't just get up, clean my house, make my bed, and do a workout. But I'm exceptionally insane. So for anyone who can follow Maxim Red's example, that's fantastic. I've made an effort over the past couple weeks repeatedly to get myself started on a spring cleaning, but haven't. Yeah, and this stupid idea of going live while in that state is working for me. So again, sorry if this is shitty for everyone else, but that bit of emotional venting I did while under the pressure not to go too far, because being live was helpful. And then now looking at your comments is, even though I haven't got enough sleep, my brain's not working right. It's sort of shifting me more to it. Reading your comments is taking me out of myself a bit. Misspent Youth says it's awful what's happening. Sending you peace, brother. Thank you so much. And yeah, I fucking believe in crazy shit like prayer and sending energy and all of that. So if anyone is so inclined as to pray or send peace or love or anything, I really appreciate that. And I accept it. So Iona Beard Best. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Said, is somebody pushing your buttons with bullying? No, it's not bullying. It's, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't want to go into it at all. It's not bullying. Just someone's been very unnecessarily difficult and causing a lot of problems, but it's real life shit. Thomas says, keep in mind the things in your control and the things outside your control. Yeah, you're exactly right. And fuck, I've been talking about that in recent live streams. So I know all that shit. Like I know all the answers to the fucked up parts of me. Like I think even when I was ranting, I started yelling like, but I know not to act. Like I know how to answer all this shit, but it's still fucking exhausting. I'm worn the fuck out. Guru says you're allowed to say fuck that theory today. We all have a dark side and a light side. Yeah, and I'm allowed to feel this fucking shit. I'm not going to allow myself to act on anything. I'm not going to start agreeing with the dark, like the gestalt of me. It's not going to start agreeing with the dark of it. And yeah, I'm not even saying fuck all that hippie shit. Like, and that's why I got so mad about it. Is because, yeah, I'm not going to let myself just go with that. All right, I think I'm pretty far behind. I'm going to read quietly for a minute. Misspent You says, have you been watching? Fucking, I just said I was going to read quietly. Fine, I'm not going to do. I'll be a fucking hypocrite and do the opposite of what I just said. Have you been watching all the conspiracy theories on Facebook? Not really. It's like I've heard bits about various conspiracy theories, but that falls under the what's outside of my control. I don't get caught up in that shit. I just worry about me and my own world. So I have no idea what to make of conspiracy, all the various conspiracy theories. I have no idea what to make of the official stories. I don't know how the world runs. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes with governments or banks or corporations. Kem says, is it like all the evil parts just come out? Yeah. It's like the space within myself. Actually, those parts want me to correct that and say they're not evil. They have their own purpose. But yeah, the fucking suicidal shit. Actually, me and Ryan were talking last night or recently, and he pointed out that like there's three kinds of people when you're hurt or when you fucking whatever. There's the kind of person that always turns it inward, and that every problem, like every time push past your limit, you turn suicidal. Then there's the kind of person that just turns homicidal. There's the kind of person that all anger is directed outwards at other people. But both me and Ryan are the kind that can do both. So when I'm upset, I've got suicidal subpersonalities and inner demons that turn it all on me. And I've also got a fucking Hulk and an inner fucking, yeah, I've got inner forces that turn it outwards as well and get very, very angry at the world. And that shit all got loose today. Imdal's Gate says, apparently the games they're playing are working because it's getting to you. Why would you give them the satisfaction? That is just impossible to answer without giving details. The closest thing I can do to really answering that, to stay as vague as possible, is because, well, one, I still love that person. They're still an expression of the same fucking divine sources. That person's still me. But sometimes when it comes to certain people in our lives, we can't just ignore them. You know, the people who affect other groups of friends or affect other family members or yeah, no, and I'm sorry about this because you know my natural desire is actually just to be really open and honest. If it was appropriate, I would love to just open up and dump everything out. I do love sunlight as a disinfectant, but it just absolutely is not appropriate to discuss in public personal details. And even if I tried to keep it hypothetical, it would, yeah. So sorry, I can't give you a real answer. Guru says only strong people talk truth. Life's a bitch right now. Every day can be all fuzzy. Or not every day can be all fuzzy. Yeah, I get what you mean by that. It can be hard at first to do the whole Peterson or Sam Harris thing of getting like religiously obsessed with honesty. It's hard at first to change any mode of thinking, but after you do it long enough, like whether you read Harrison's book on telling the truth or Peterson or whoever, you came across the idea of taking a sacred vow of honesty. It's hard at first, but once you do it, you don't want to go back. And that's why, like, yeah, I would love to just vent everything, because I've learned that there's, like, it's not that things are good or easy when you tell the truth, like Peterson says, but it's the best it could be. And there's worse traps in lying. So I fucking just, it's a struggle at first, eventually it's a comfort. And it takes the pressure off. Especially if you're crazy and you've got all these internal things that differ about everything. Don't start trying to lie or control reality that way. Just tell the fucking truth. It takes a lot of pressure off internally. Because if you have the option of lying, like we all know about decision fatigue. Wait, why did I say that? I don't know if everyone does. So fucking, I'm sorry. Brain no so good right now. So with the idea of decision fatigue, like the idea that certain people, lay their clothes out for the week or wear the same clothes every day just to cut down on the number of decisions you can make. We all have a maximum number of decisions we can make every day. You wear that out. So yeah, some people in jobs like politics or fucking high corporate people who have to make important decisions and who are aware of decision fatigue remove unnecessary decisions from their morning routine. Why was I say? Oh, honesty. So you have the option of lying. And if you always have to decide whether to lie or tell the truth, you're making decisions all the time. And whether you're aware of it or not, like whether you think of that as a decision. And that will wear out your decision fatigue, and it's a lot of mental energy. So someone, asks you a question. If your first thought is decide whether or not to lie, that's a whole mental process you have to go through, and you have to choose. Am I going to lie or am I going to tell the truth? Then once you decide to lie, you have to choose the lie. Or if you decide to tell the truth, you have to just figure out how to tell the truth. It's easier to skip the first fucking step. So if you're like me and you have a lot of fucking difficult neurological activity, don't overburden your system with lying. Sorry, that's not me telling you what to do. That's me saying what's worked for me. Okay, and Thomas says hippie BS question mark, and Ken says try changing your perception of the hippie bullshit. That wasn't me as the Gestalt speaking. That was venting what some things inside of me were saying. And this is hard to explain, but it's like I'm more aware of my subpersonalities, and it's like I have multiple. Like I don't hear. I don't know how to explain it. The easiest is to use the analogy of that I have a couple people active in me, and that was the other perspective. Is that that's all hippie bullshit? Like at other times, often you'll hear me going on about all that hippie bullshit, like because I'm also just I totally have a hippie subpersonality, and I have the mystic and guru. So yeah, I love the hippie bullshit, and the hippie bullshit's what I choose to actually act on as a gestalt, like as a whole being. But I have internal subpersonalities that don't like that. I have internal subpersonalities that do. Oh wait, I think I'm caught up to where I asked. Holy fuck! I've been on for half an hour. It might be up to where I asked if I should just take this down. And yeah, Dan said nothing to apologize for. Guru said, don't be embarrassed, badass honest. Ken's getting everyone to tell jokes, apparently. So we've got that coming up. Thomas, the ball's at your foot, what you can or can't change. How do you turn a dishwasher into a snowblower? I have no idea. Oh shit, why did this just... Okay, this is non-responsive now. Am I still live? Okay, it's working again. Oh wow, I think I'm really far behind. So I'm gonna do that shitty thing I do now and then of just reading, and that's like oh wow, we have 25 people. So sorry that I'm just gonna be quiet for a minute. That's horrible broadcasting. Santos says I acknowledge being in that case. That's okay. Yeah, and like for me, it's the whole embracing the derogatory term. So I'll refer to myself as any derogatory term for crazy, because as far as I'm concerned, none of that should be insulting. But I really don't want to hurt other people's feelings. And so I hope I don't like recklessly refer to all of us dealing with mental health issues in a derogatory way that hurts anyone's feelings. Like, think of the punk subculture where everyone gives themselves derogatory names, or NWA, embracing a word that I don't think I'm supposed to say. I do it that way. Or like the Game of Thrones, the little guy who calls him a bastard and then says, well, what? Sorry, you are a bastard, aren't you? And says how he's a dwarf and never forget it. So that's why I've embraced the word lunatic. It's not because I actually think crazy people are any worse than sane people. It's in fact the opposite. That crazy people are just as valuable. They're just crazy. So why is lunatic an insult? All right. Why did the tomato blush? Because it saw the salad dressing. I'm not in the kind of mood to laugh, but I will read any jokes that anyone wrote for the rest of you. And for anyone else who's in a good mood, don't let me bring you down. And me reading these jokes in a bitchy bad mood is like funny to you. Just go right ahead and laugh at me. Because, yeah, it wouldn't be the mean kind of laughing at. Reminds me of the at the watch party. And as far as I'm concerned, when we have private parties, the people there are speaking to the people there. So don't worry, anyone. If you were there, I'm not going to start saying what people said. Anytime we host private parties, I'm not going to really, I'm not going to talk about what someone said there. But this is just a general thing, not anyone specific. So I'll pass this one thing on. There was someone there new, so they didn't know who I was. A friend invited them. Like a friend from the community brought someone new to the party who had no idea who I was or what the channel was, I guess. And so I explained that Ryan wasn't there, and I explained who Ryan was, and I listed off his credentials. You know, he's going for his master's in psychology, and he's got his nature-based therapies and blah, blah, blah. So I went through all of Ryan's credentials, and then I said, and my expertise is that I'm bipolar. And the moment I said that my expertise was that I'm bipolar, everyone there just burst out laughing. And I loved that moment. It didn't, like, I wasn't trying to be funny. I was just being sincere. But I realized that me being honest and sincere can be funny in a way where yeah, you're not laughing with me because I'm not laughing, but you're also not laughing at me. Like, you're laughing in the spirit of with me, even though I wasn't trying to be funny. I do know a lot of people like have that reaction to me, and that doesn't bother me in the slightest. Fuck. I'm really far behind. Is it better if I just go to the end and start responding to things more recent? 'Cause I'm just going to be responding to shit. People who are already gone now, I think. Okay, I'll read this, though, from Dan. I think it's useful to see how the inner battle goes. A lot of folks may not understand what this is like. It's a constant battle. Yeah, and I try to talk about it when I'm in a good state, but and me and Dan know each other well enough from talking privately that I know Dan's understanding shit I say in a way a lot of other people can't. So even some of the stuff that I'm sure might be total nonsense to most people, people like me or Dan might understand. So yeah, so maybe it's a good thing to leave the video up. Also, once something's up for a while, I disconnect from it, and like I have plenty of videos where I've done ridiculously embarrassing shit like cry. Once a video is a month or two old, it's not me anymore. That's the old me. And I disconnect from it. Programs 10 says, I think would be good to leave this video up. Showing this can help us understand bipolar better and help others with the condition feel solidarity. And Santo, yes, the prayer serenity is excellent. I'm doing it again where I said I was just going to skim through to the end and I stopped to read. Yes. Fuck yeah, that's another thing though. Anytime I do come on this fucking channel, I think there's a couple live videos that start with me saying, hey, I just want to talk about this and then I'm going to take it down. Even when I come on Express. In fact, that's the first Lunatic Live. The first Lunatic Live is me coming on saying, hey, I just need some feedback. I'll take this down after. And it ended up being the beginning of my playlist. So yeah, I got to be careful when I tell myself, oh, I'm just going to come on and take it down, because then delightful people like Dan in Programs 10 point out very rightly that this could be helpful to other people, and I end up leaving it up. Guru, your son's 17 and is suicidal. If you want, reach out to the channel at some point. If you think either me talking to you about how to deal with your son, or if you ever wanted like you and your son together to talk to me, like when I'm feeling up to it. I can't always, but when I'm feeling up to it, I'm happy to help people out, particularly people struggling with suicide, because suicidal feelings are deadly. So if there's anything I can do to help with that, right into the channel and let me know. It might not be, super short term, or who knows, maybe it will be. All right, wait, yeah, it's better to get caught up. I'm probably answering people that are fucking gone, so I'm just gonna skim through. Or I'm gonna start fucking reading them out loud again and go even slower right after saying that. Programs 10. Also, what you said about the fight between the hippie ideals and the frustrated asshole parts of you is very relatable. It's a hard fight and it's inspiring to see you beat it. Okay, fucking awesome. That in combination with some other shit people have said that I didn't necessarily read out loud is starting to make me feel better. Especially, yeah, this turned out to be something that's going to be helpful for other people. There's a purpose to everything. And fucking all shit is fertilizer. And I have to go through this stuff anyway for as long as I do. Like, I'm not holding on to it. I'm happy to learn the lessons from this and move on and stop struggling. But I've had a lot of difficult experiences up till now. And I think it would be unrealistic to expect that there aren't going to be a lot more. And if I can use that load of shit to help other people, like, fucking right on. Because otherwise it just sits in a pile and stinks. So I'm going to go through it anyway. I might as well see if I can find a way to help anyone else that are going through similar things. Or to help somebody who's like perfectly normal and just wants to tune in and feel better about themselves. Yeah, at least you're not this fucking guy. Take a look at everything about your life. That's sort of, I was directing things for a while there at people who have the same difficulties. But if you don't have the same difficulties, fucking right, look at me and say, hey, at least I'm not that guy. And don't take for granted balanced emotions or a stable state. Here, but for the grace of God, go you. You said to cut the TV. I didn't think the music was loud enough to hear. Yeah, also, hopefully that's better. But if there's still those weird fucking beeps and whistles or whatever, those weird noises, I don't know what the fuck that is. I barely know how to use my computer. And my other webcam and microphone are fucking up again. So I'm having to use the built-in camera, which is like pathetically poor video quality. And I know there's those weird noises. But I didn't think the music was loud enough to pick up. So there might still be sound issues. Or I'm sure there is. Maggie Ellis. Yeah, I've been a wicked emotional bitch the past few days. Another kindred soul, at least in some ways. Adela. Hi. It's good to see you. Merc, I lost my brother in 2009, car accident. Just trying to give you a different perspective. Love and light. Thank you. Exactly what I was just saying to the other audience, like to give them perspective on their life. Yeah, you're right. And I do work on that kind of thing all the time. Like, I've gone through a recent breakdown and I'm dealing with all these stresses better than I ever have in the past. And that is one thing that's really helpful, is instead of just focusing on what's wrong, focus on what's all right. Like, down to, do you have power? Do you have electricity and running water? If you have those two things, and no matter what else you're going through, it could be exactly that and no electricity and running water. And Ken says, I'm really sorry, Adela. I hope your brother's soul is free now. Excellent point. And yeah, I was kind of a dick there. was just like, oh, thank you. And this is how that affects me. I hope you know, Adela, that I just thought it was obvious that you have my condolences. And you know me well enough that whether I'm right or wrong, I think your brother's in a better place. And Guru says maybe confide in someone and spell the details. Yeah, don't worry. It's not that I'm not talking to anyone about the details of what I'm going through. Like Brian and Grizz and Andrew all know. Yeah, I am talking it through with people, just not publicly. So no, it's not like I'm burdening myself to tell no one in the world. All right, Lubomir Katz. Wait, I've got a good knock knock joke, but you have to start it. So are you doing the knock knock joke from the beginning of An American Werewolf in London? Because I love that joke. Yeah, you're trying to do the joke from American Werewolf in London, so I'm not going to fall for it, but maybe I'll tell Ryan that joke sometime me and him are on stream together. Okay, Guru says it's like an old 70s flick. I like the scene and lighting. I've actually gotten that feedback a bunch of times, that the low video quality, and I can see it for the video quality. Although the audio issue when I have to switch to this, I think is fucking annoying and nobody appreciates that. But I have gotten a bunch of feedback that like that my videos that are really poor video quality just have like a nice old fucking retro lo-fi feel about them. And yeah, I like stuff like that too. So if it wasn't for the way it fucks with the audio, I wouldn't mind that I'm back to using the built-in webcam. Or am I wrong about that? Is that not a problem? Is there those weird fucking background noises? Because right now I've got everything quiet. There's no background sounds. There's no air conditioner running. There's no light music on. And Guru says, I'm curious how old most of us are. I'm 53 going on 40. So I'm 41. All right, Jack, what do you get when you drop a piano down a mine? Oh, fuck it. I tried to go down one for a flat minor. Okay, and Guru says I'm mentally off, and the only difference is I won't let anyone label or diagnose me. I'm plenty off, proud of what I am. I love deeply, and I'm crazy too. Okay, yeah. And also, my use of all these terms like mentally ill, bipolar, all of that, that does not mean I accept the medical model. I consider the medical model. Fuck, how do I put this? Okay, so some people might argue, is a person like me mentally ill? Or are they a naturally born shaman that needs to be trained shamanically? And like might argue whether a person's crazy or some sort of sensitive or seer. I'm not worried about that debate. Whatever this is, that's what I am. And so if you're a person that thinks all fucking like if you're a person that thinks someone who is bipolar is just mentally ill, and that when I talk about talking to angels, there is no angels, and I'm just talking to myself, then you would also look at any shaman or any magician or any fucking saint that talk to angels. You would say, yeah, that's all crazy. So fine, if you're a person that defines that whole range of things as crazy, yeah, I'm one of the crazy people. However, the kind of person who's going to say, hey, no, you're just like a natural shaman that didn't go through a shamanic training, uh, well, that person's also going to look at any other person labeled mentally ill, like with my type of mental illness. Of course, there's different types, and was going to say, hey, those are all just shamans that weren't prepared properly. So, and I totally respect, because I don't know what is true. I have a subpersonality that's a fucking atheist and believes in the medical model. I have a whole lot of subpersonalities that believe in God and believe in my angel. And so I'm fine with whatever anyone else defines that. So when I say I'm crazy, I'm also fine to say I'm a shaman. Um, and to me, it doesn't matter which word I use, because if I say I'm crazy, like I'm a lunatic, the kind of people who believe lunatics are shaman look at me as a shaman anyway. And if I were to say I'm a shaman, the kind of person who thinks that's crazy is just going to think I'm a lunatic anyway. So I don't care which label it is. I'll use any of them, but I'm not allowing the label to define me. Sure, I'm bipolar. I fit that description very well, better than any other. But what is bipolar? I don't know. Okay, Inner City Dispute says weed isn't too great for people who are already mildly disturbed. It makes my paranoia go through the roof. Hey, James, good to see you. All right. So, first of all, obviously, I'm not a doctor. Nobody should be taking like any sort of medical advice from me whatsoever. But I'll share my experience specifically with with marijuana and mental illness. So first of all, every drug affects people differently. Like look at what happened when Peterson took clonazepam, and so right off the or alcohol, different people react differently. Some of us have that reaction that creates some sort of opiate or whatever inside ourselves that again Peterson talks about. It's just different people react differently to different drugs. However, even if you're the kind of person for whom weed is beneficial, it's like any other drug. The amount matters. So for me personally, I consider weed a medication, and not enough weed is not good for me. But also too much weed is not good for me. Also, that said, weed is not good for everyone, even at the right amount, I don't think. Um, And then the other thing is, if you're considering weed a medication, like a lot of medications, they affect you differently when you're first taking them than they affect you when they've built up in your system and you've adapted to them. So plenty of psychiatric medications have whole lists of side effects. And there's some that are long term and you have to get off the pills, but other times there's side effects that are often short term. So if you come in saying it's causing this and this and this, the doctor will say, okay, that's just your system adjusting. Let's stick it out for another 4 weeks and see if these side effects go away. For me personally, and for a few other people I've seen, weed's like that. So if you don't smoke it on a regular basis, your tolerance goes down and you get paranoia very, very easily. But I find once you've adjusted to weed, if you smoke it on a regular basis, that happens much less or will stop completely. The other thing is specifically for paranoia, because that's a side effect of a THC overdose, essentially, that paranoid feeling. Is just essentially a bit of an overdose, and you'd be amazed how much your tolerance drops if you smoked weed for years, like you were a pothead, and then you took a year off and you went to smoke weed again. Like, be careful, because your tolerance is right the fuck down. Just take a toke or two, like a beginner, or you're going to get too high. But the other thing is, if you can get weed that's been properly cured, I'm not going to get into any of that describing, but people can look that up if they're trying to use weed as a medication and they find they have problems with paranoia. The longer weed is cured, the better. And so if you can get your hands on properly cured weed and then you set it aside for another 4 months and let it age even more, it'll really take all that paranoia out. And my good friend James says, all shit is fertilizer, no kidding. Tough to remember that when you're in the shit, though. Yeah, it is. And like, I knew that earlier when I was freaking out. I was full of all the good advice, which is exactly why I came on here. I was trying to like shift myself. Somehow the act of going through this, yeah, started bringing out more of my own good sense. Yeah, and I have no idea what the beeping is. Hey, Daniel, good to see you. And I may need a new computer. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I do. Or maybe I just need a new webcam, or fuck, I don't know. The weird thing is the additional webcam still works if I'm connecting to Zoom, or it's what I used in the party. I used the webcam with its microphone. My computer still works fine for all that. So if I was on with Ryan right now and we were doing it through his Zoom, my camera would work fine. But for some reason, when I try to stream on YouTube, it just freezes up, and I can only do it with this. And I just really do not know how to use computers. Della says, no worries, Merc. You always come from a place of love, even when it's harder to find some days. Thank you for saying that. Hi, Linda. So Brad says, if you're altruistic still, you're retaining the moral philosophy of sacrifice that religious leaders have pushed onto the culture for the last 2,000 years. Ayn Rand and Jordan Peterson expose this. Okay, I'm going to think on that. Let's see. You got some follow-up. Most atheists believe that sacrifice is still moral, like religion claims, but sacrifice is the most worrisome part of religion. Atheists that are rational are following Ayn Rand's morality, which is objectivism. Much love. Please check out The Psychology of Altruism by Ayn Rand. I might. Curious about that. And I might totally forget about this and never look into it. And you continue, someone who doesn't question their morality of altruism will doubt themselves and have low self-esteem because their morality tells them to sacrifice rather than value individual accomplishments. How does that fit in with like what Alan Watts says about the only true motive for altruism, like the perspective of saying that altruism is just selfishness anyway, because we're all one. And so when you're doing things for other people, you're really doing that for yourself. How does that interact with what you're talking about? So Gabber says, my friend has a parrot and he is cussing all the time, telling bad jokes. He is fed up and puts him in the freezer. The parrot is banging on the door. My friend, oh my gosh, the poor parrot. He opens the freezer. The parrot tells, I had a change of heart. I want to have a good relationship with you. No more swearing. But I have a question. What the fuck did the chicken do? Thank you so much for showing up. When people said they were going to tell jokes, I was certain nobody was going to get a laugh out of me. But not only was that funny, that was great. And it brings to mind something. I wish I could just play the song, but one, I don't know how to do any of that shit, and I don't think I'm allowed to. So I'm going to read the lyrics. Sorry, my computer's acting all fucky. And I don't want to try to do the lyrics off memory in this state of mind. Still not thinking so great. Okay. It is the way you name your ship. You know it's time for a change. But how and where do you start? When bitching and moaning and frowning and groaning and loaning and throwing has torn you apart. It has torn you apart from deep within, left no vigorous cell. Even in Eden, you seek not whole to hell. Hey ho, Captain Crooked Grin, tell me, where are you trying to go? You taught your parrot to stutter. Now you repeat his old chatter. But it is the way you name your ship. That's the way it's gonna row. Oh, it is the way you name your ship. That's the way it's going to row. Now, in the beginning, there was a word. In the end, there is no end. People don't live or die. People just fade in and out of the fog. We come to comprehend. Now, all alone, with your crooked grin, how you plan staying afloat. Even the boatsmen grab Bible and split from the boat. Oh, hey ho, Captain Crooked Grin, tell us, where are you trying to go? You taught your parrot to stutter. Now you believe his old chatter. But it is the way you name your ship. That's the way it's going to row. And from there, it just repeats. So thank you for that joke that both made me laugh and brought that song to mind. And Gogol Bordello are fucking amazing. They have so much great music. And Brad says Alan is correct. It's all selfish. Selfishness is a virtue. Yeah. I understand all that. Which really makes me look like a selfish prick that I've got a YouTube channel where I devote so much time trying to help other people, even though it often puts me under a lot of stress. Yeah, I really want to pamper myself. Hi, Pink. Love you too. Thanks for stopping in. I've been on for over an hour already. So, Brad continues, the virtue of selfishness, which explains in depth, the ultimate debate comes down to individualism versus collectivism. Religion is collectivistic and demands sacrifice by force. Rational selfishness, when acted upon correctly, means that all individuals share equal rights before the law, which leads to a better outcome than any collectivism. Okay, Andrat, take care. Thanks. And yeah, there's something to that. I don't worry about what society should do. I'm not the person fucking anyone wants involved in politics. In Jonathan Pajot's way of looking at the world map, I'm one of the freaks on the edge of the map that lives out where it says, "Here there be dragons." I have no, like, and in that map, I have no right to go to the city in the center and vote. It's not for me to say how society should be run. You deal with your own house, and the fringe dwellers live in the fringe. So that's what I'm focused on. Myself and any other individual that wants to learn something from me. So first of all, I don't want to talk to anyone who doesn't want to hear me, and I don't want to talk to anyone about anything they don't want to hear, and I don't want to tell people what they need to change. So the way I look at it is, if someone's trying to make a change and it's the kind of change that I naturally enjoy helping people make, then we're going to get along great. But if you want to make a change and it's a change I don't believe in, like I'm looking to learn how to be more manipulative and controlling, I'm going to have no interest to be involved. And if you have no interest in discussing how to be more honest, I also have no interest in forcing that on anyone. Oh, fuck you, Grizz. I'll do what I want. I came on because I was in a bad mood. Grizz said, "How dare you go live while my phone is on the charger?" Which obviously he was kidding playfully. Less obviously, perhaps, I was kidding playfully back. No, I needed to fucking sort my head out. I put myself live for the pressure to, all the shit from the Arkham Asylum was loose inside. I could not get myself straight, and I need sleep, or at least a couple hours of nice meditation. Maybe if I can't sleep, I'll be able to meditate now. But when I tried before, it was like, yeah, going inward was just going in with every fucking crazed supervillain loose in there, and I couldn't take it. So I went live just to put some pressure on myself to calm down. The way people will, start recording someone who's acting out of control. So that was why I went live. I did that stupid thing again of saying, I'll go live and just do this and then take it down. And then it turned into other shit, and people got something out of it. And so now this is going to get left up. Unless I made any mistake over the line. But I don't think I did. Like, I ranted and acted embarrassingly, but I didn't talk about personal details or anyone or say anything I shouldn't have. So if I was wrong about that and I said any personal details about anyone, I'll take this down. But I'm pretty sure I didn't at all. John says, "Look after yourself, man. I've started journaling, just a couple of lines a day on the Red Notebook program. It gets shit out of your head and keeps notes of things you've done and need to do." That is excellent advice I should follow. That is advice I would pass on to others, although it would be the kind of advice where I'd have to pass it on as saying, hey, here's something I understand in theory that I've never put into practice properly, but you could try. So it's not something I can say, hey, I've done this and it works. Tried a few times to get myself to do that and it hasn't worked. And James says, if you continue to listen to Vervaeke's Meaning Crisis series, I'm a little over halfway through and it's really interesting. Yeah, that series is great. I got up to 12 or 13 or something. Then I just got diverted, got interested in something else and didn't go back to it for a while. Then about a month ago, I went to go back to it and it had been a while. It didn't feel right quite picking up where I left off, but also it hadn't been long enough since I watched. I was like, should I just start this at the beginning? I tried to watch it from the beginning and I couldn't rewatch it. So anyway, yeah, that's what happened. I got sidetracked. I'd like to get back to Vervaeke's thing because it was excellent. I loved the first dozen or so that I watched. All right, I'm caught up, even though sorry to everyone who took the time to write shit I didn't respond to. Fuck, I don't know. But now that I am caught up, if I missed something, because also like when I read through it jumped sometimes, so I did try to read everything, at least skimming through quickly, but I might have missed things. If anyone wrote something earlier, now that I'm all caught up, and I skipped past it, and you were really hoping for a response, feel free to repeat yourself now. James says, yeah, I also found out that I needed to watch it regularly. And thanks for coming on. You're welcome. And thanks for coming out to the party the other night. It was great that we had a decent turnout. It would have sucked if it was just me and Grizz waiting there all by ourselves. And yeah, also a huge thanks to Grizz because he's the one that set all that shit up. And Grizz has had to do a lot of like thankless work behind the scenes trying to teach me how to use a computer. So both for the party last night and for everything you've done helping out with the channel, Grizz, I really appreciate it. And I realize that it might be frustrating for you because I don't learn easily when it comes to computers. I know I'm a pain in the ass for you sometimes. So I really appreciate your contribution. And Grizz said it would have been awesome, but they would have missed it. And James says, I enjoyed the hangout. Thanks for setting it up, Grizz. Yeah, it was a good time. And it took a lot out of me, that whole introvert thing. But like actively during it, I had a fantastic time. Remember, anyone was wondering, the watch party ended up lasting just over 5 hours, and we didn't even watch the fucking movie. Everyone wanted to talk so much that we didn't even watch the movie. We just hung out talking for 5 hours. And everyone who commented, said they liked it and want more. So we might be doing more again soon. Or I might crack up and disappear from the channel for a while. That's entirely possible at the moment. But yeah, even considering today and the fucked up state I'm still in now, although it's much better having done this, I think I can handle this. I don't think I'll have to drop off the channel. I like having the option. So I'll probably remind myself of it now and then by saying that. But I have a good feeling that I'll be able to keep this up. And also for anyone else struggling, yeah, I'm feeling a little more. No, I don't know. But despite the state I'm in today, during this time when a lot of people are locked in and dealing with emotional difficulties and various stresses under, cabin fever and such, if anyone thinks that it would be helpful to talk, right into the channel. And if I'm not doing well, I'll just let you know. I won't push myself too hard for the community here, like beyond my ability. But anyone who's struggling, let me know because often it's great when you're, especially when you're trying to focus on what you can and can't control, and you're trying to live with difficulties. Some things you can't control. Sometimes it's good to help other people. So And to the people who have, had private talks with me recently and stuff, if you're, seeing this and you think, oh shit, I shouldn't have been leaning on Mercury so much, don't have that reaction at all. That's been really helpful. It's been meaningful. And, I often enjoy even the really difficult conversations I have with some people. I don't mean difficult in that they're difficult with me. I mean, like talking about their suicidal feelings or their problems. I enjoy making the connection. I enjoy doing the sort of spiritual shamanic work. I think it's good for me. And for anyone who deals with depression, if you can, find some way to help someone else. So yeah, nobody feel bad who's been leaning on me, and anyone who thinks they could use my help, don't hold back from writing into the channel. I'll be honest. If I can't, and if I make an appointment with somebody and then I can't make it, I'm having a bad day, I'll write to them or fucking lean on Grizz and ask him to send them a message or something, and we'll reschedule. But don't hold back. Offhand, it says, hopefully we are some kind of balance or source of positive feedback. Please don't hesitate to go live whenever you feel the need. Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate that. And Grizz says, just chipping in, like, thumbs up, and comments. Yeah, sure. And also, I'll do the fucking thing Tim Pool used to do. So we are having, oh, right, I don't want to trigger with using the wrong language that a non-physical, non-human intelligence listening might take offense to. So I'll say that when we make videos lately, they're having a lot of trouble reaching some of the people who might want to see them. The forces that direct where videos go aren't pleased with Ryan and I at the moment. And so not everyone is getting notifications, and some of our stuff isn't showing up in searches for the first 12 to 24 hours, is not getting anything from browse views. So if anyone, yeah, and I agree with what Tim Pool says. If you don't like this, obviously don't fucking do a thing. But if you do like this and you want to help us deal with the fact that we don't have the wind at our back right now for getting this around, giving a like helps a lot. Subscribing helps. Lately, our notifications don't go out to everyone, even if you have the bell clicked with all notifications. But that's your best chance, is click all notifications, although that doesn't always go out. And if you really want to support the channel, share the video. And we'll see if we can get around the issues with, I don't want to piss off that invisible non-human intelligence that apparently listens to everything I say and in real time decides whether or not to promote this. And John Walsh says, what was the movie? The movie we tried to watch was Darren Brown's Apocalypse. Oh, and we're still a bunch of people, everyone seemed to enjoy just talking through the whole party. And nobody was upset that we didn't watch the movie that I know of. But a few people did say it would have been nice to also watch the movie. So we might try it again. Or we might from now on have two kinds of parties. We might have watch parties that are mostly centered around talking. But we might also have watch parties that are called shut the fuck up and watch parties. And that means we'll talk before the movie, but then everyone fucking mutes themselves. We watch the movie and then we discuss it after. Or a shut the fuck up and watch party could involve the movie plays for 20 minutes. Then we pause it and people can comment. So people, like, feel free. Anyone who doesn't want to wait till to see if we get around to hosting a shut the fuck up and watch Apocalypse movie night, go ahead and watch that. It's fucking fantastic. And it's on YouTube, Darren Brown's Apocalypse. But if anyone wants to watch it for the first time as a group, I still think that would be great to do a shut the fuck up and watch party. Okay, and Amin says, I heard smoking kills. It says it on the label, and Grizz points out that life is a terminal condition. Yeah, and I'm incorrigible when it comes to that, so nobody bother trying to fix me. There's no fixing me on smoking. And I don't like to say this because I know nobody, or almost nobody else agrees, and I'm not interested in arguing. You think your thing, I'll think mine. I consider tobacco one of my medicines. I don't care what other people think. And yes, it's got side effects, but I prefer the side effects from that to the side effects of taking lithium for my whole life. And no one would shame me for that one. So I'm incorrigible. I'm going to smoke. People don't like it. That's fine. Like, good thing you can't smell it through the screen, but don't anyone try to save me from this because you're just going to waste your energy. And you follow up by saying, Mercury, question mark, you're a good guy, like your energy. Thanks. Well, like everyone, I'm good and bad. None of us are just sinners or saints. We're all a mix. But I appreciate that. I'm glad you like my energy because that's the only reason I'm putting it out here. I'm happy to be a fucking hermit. And like, I intellectually understand that for the majority of people, isolation is this weird, fucked up thing that's terrifying to the point where even in a prison, being surrounded by murderers, being put into isolation is the worst thing you can imagine. But that's where I found my healing. I spent 2 years, no internet, no phone, no car, no visitors other than my parents dropping off supplies. Isolation's just a fucking bliss to me. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in isolation in a prison cell where you can't fucking smoke and there's no dope and you can't listen to music or read a book or go outside and talk to chipmunks. But if I've got nature, I've got supplies, and ideally, if I have electricity, better yet, the internet for entertainment, even if I wasn't using the internet for like interaction with people at all, it's just using it to read and watch things. I could perfectly happily settle into that for the rest of my life and spend it in isolation. So there's no pressure for anyone to enjoy my energy or accept it. There's no pressure for anyone to listen. The only reason anyone should is because they find it enjoyable. Actually, what I would really love, the effect I'd like to have on some people, like, and I don't know how I would, but the effect I would love to have is that the reason you watch my shit is that you find it enjoyable and that somehow it makes you a better person. And that wouldn't have to be because I'm right. There's a lot to the idea that more important than being right is just making your point in an interesting way that makes people engage. Because if I can say something that makes you engage into like with that concept, and engaging with it makes you figure out why I'm wrong and figure out a truth that I don't understand, then that would be fantastic. Or if what I say just resonates with you, it helps you clarify something you've been experiencing and you find I'm right, that's great. But if you also watch me and you figure out how I'm wrong on something and it leads you to some big insight, that would be wonderful. And Santos says, it seems like you're in the middle of a shadow confrontation. Yeah, shadow confrontation is just one of my regular hobbies that I deal with regularly. Yeah, I dive into the dark night of the soul quite a bit. Anders F says, you sound like an honest and helpful guy. Do you think that there is an increase of interest among the younger generations, or perhaps there are a specific generation that has a better connection? Interest is in terms of more meditation and isolation to get away from the noise of larger cities. All right, sorry, I got to reread that. My brain's not working so well. You sound like an honest and helpful guy. Do you think there's an increase of interest in the younger generation, for meditation and isolation? I have no idea. I don't know what's going on in the world. Like my 2 years of total isolation started in 2009, but since then I'm still very much a hermit. Like I've gradually opened up more, got a phone and internet, and then I started allowing people to visit me and whatnot. But I don't leave my property. Like when I say, sometimes I'll say I don't leave my house, but what I mean is my house and the nature around me, because I'm out in the middle of nowhere in Canada. So I don't know what's going on in the world. And for me, it wasn't that I took up an interest in meditation or isolation. It was that being bipolar fucking broke me down to the point that I had to do all of that to survive. So I had to go into isolation just to deal with my condition. When it was, because it was way the fuck more extreme than it is now. When I hadn't learned all the things I've learned over the past decade plus. What the fuck was I saying? Oh, right. And so the going into isolation was a defeat for me. Okay, I can't handle life if I'm going to not kill myself. Yeah, when I first went into isolation, because the first 2 years were suicidal for 2 years. My first cycles were 3 years long. So it's sort of 1 year of mania that would build to a complete total psychotic break, then crash or get locked up in an institution against my will, screaming about the end of the world. And then I'd have 2 years of depression. I went through that cycle twice. And so the second time going into that depression, going into isolation, was I give up on life. The government put me on permanent disability at that point. I'd already been working for years trying to rehabilitate. And at that point, the government was like, all right, fuck, we don't want to keep paying for new windows for cop cars, and we don't want to be burdening the medical system on you. That we're going to give you disability permanently. Don't worry about a thing. Just stay home and see if you can keep yourself under control and not be a problem. And for me to do that, I had to just say, okay, I'm going to just deal with this and not other people. And so I went into isolation because I was a failure. And the only thing I could do was not kill myself. For the worst of it, about 1.5 years of that 2 years, it was like I had no ability to do anything but not kill myself. It took active energy. And then getting into meditation, that just fucking happens if you spend a bunch of time alone. And then the rest of my spiritual work and all my mindfulness meditation and all of this shit has been a matter of survival for me. If I hadn't done all of this, I would not have gotten my shit under control. And I would have either died by suicide, or my second psychotic break, especially, I would have just died from exhaustion and malnutrition. My mania built for months and months. And at the end, I was in a total psychotic break where it had already been months of like just sleeping, almost not sleeping, eating next to nothing. And then at the end, I just wasn't sleeping and I wasn't fucking eating. And I went completely out of my head and experienced the end of the world. Like my house, the real, like the world was destroyed. My house was just like floating in deep space, and I was trying to get through to the new world. For some reason, I would like just started smashing windows and locking doors. It's like I'd lock all the doors in the house. I'd smash a window, climb out that window, go around to another window from the outside, break it, climb in. I smashed out every light in the house. I turned on all the water for some reason. And yeah, I would like lock myself in a room and then run and like break through the door. And I was just in this weird fucking loop of running all over the fucking place, thinking it was the end of the world, until cops showed up, and then I was sure that they were sent by the devil. I don't know why I got into all that, but yeah, the point is I've been through some intense. Oh right, yeah, I would have, if I hadn't been taken into the insane asylum that time, I would have died somehow. I don't know. And I was bleeding by the time they got there. I didn't even know it. Just and by accident. I'd never cut myself on purpose, but I'd cut myself climbing through broken windows. no idea I was bleeding. I wasn't going to eat or sleep. I'm sure I would have either just run around that house until I eventually died, or I would have run off into the woods or something. So my level of bipolar is a seriously life-threatening condition. I could die from it on either end. And the only way to survive for me, and I don't look down on anyone that uses tons of medications and whatnot, but for me, medications just didn't work. And I had to go on this huge fucking spiritual journey to stay alive. Okay, James has got to get going. Have a great day, James. Thanks for stopping in. So that was a long rant to say I don't know what the younger generations are into, and I don't know who specifically is getting more interested in meditation and isolation. From the people here, it seems like a wide variety of age groups and a lot of very, very different people are in this community. Santos says there's a reason why Abraham, Christ, Mohammed, and the Buddha went into the desert for 30 days. Yeah, isn't it 40 days though? In terms of isolation. Yeah, absolutely. Isolation is fucking beautiful. Like in that Charles Bukowski poem. I know I've read this one before, but I think we have people listening who didn't hear it. Come on, stop being fucky. I'm live. Work. All right, thank you. Go all the way, Charles Bukowski. If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, and maybe even your mind. It could mean not eating for 3 or 4 days. It could mean freezing on a park bench. It could mean jail. It could mean derision. It could mean mockery, isolation. Isolation is the gift. All the others are a test of your endurance, of how much you really want to do it. And you'll do it, despite rejection and the worst odds. And it will be better than anything else you can imagine. You're going to try all the way. There's no other feeling like that. You will be alone with the gods, and the nights will flame with fire. You will ride life straight to perfect laughter. It's the only good fight there is. John says, Grizz said life is a terminal condition. Have you checked out anti-aging rejuvenation medicine theories like Aubrey de Grey's SENS program? So I haven't heard of that specifically, but Sam Harris sometimes talks about how he thinks we accept aging and that one day, we're going to have cured aging and we're going to look back on the people who accepted aging as being like, why did you accept that? I find that fucking creepy. That's one thing that creeps me out when Sam talks about it. And I love lots of what he says. But yeah, the ideas of people saying technology may have got or may soon get to the point where we can stop the aging process and make ourselves considerably closer to immortal, I find that fucking creepy. I am very grateful that the only thing I'm certain of is that I'm going to die. And Anders has a good question. I'll try to give it an answer, and then I think I'm going to get going. But this worked. I'm either going to be able to sleep or I'm going to be able to meditate or maybe read or listen to some music or something. The experiment worked. Put live, I started to smarten up. So Anders says, what are the most important lessons that you have learned throughout your life? What knowledge would you prefer to pass on to another individual? So the honesty thing. Like, I think you could talk for hours about how important it is to tell the truth all the time. And it's not a finger wagging, you should do this for other people thing. It's a, oh no, fucking, like, do it for yourself. Like the same way that you would advise somebody with a bad back to go get a massage. That's not like a you should go do thing. It's like, oh, you should do that. You'll feel much better. Like for your own sake, and to go to what was it Brad was saying earlier about altruism and selfishness? Like be selfish. Tell the truth for the selfish reason of that's the only way to live. That one's super important. And ties into, being authentic. Also, like that whole lesson of there's no point in arguing with anybody. Like all that activity that's so popular over social media, where whatever it is you believe in, like you're a conservative or you're evangelical or you're an anarchist or whatever it is that you think you're woke to or you're based about or you have the right God, whatever that is, so much of this is just our natural reaction to the world. You're not going to change minds by going out there and trying to. Like it's, so if that's what you're trying to do, don't bother. On the other hand, if you're like Ben Shapiro, the way Ben Shapiro just loves it, he says he loves the debate, he loves the argument. So he's not expecting to change anyone's mind. And usually when Shapiro's talking to someone, he's not trying to change their mind. He's playing to the audience. It's like if you love the intellectual battle of arguing things, go ahead. But if you don't just love it for the sake of it and you're doing it because you think to yourself, oh my God, they'd be so much happier if they just understood this or whatever, I find that's pretty pointless. And that's why I take the attitude of, yeah, I don't want to argue with anyone. I don't want to debate anything. And I don't want to tell anyone anything they don't want to hear. I also don't expect anyone to be right. Like, I don't look to Peterson or Sam Harris or Alan Watts to tell me the truth. Like, in the sense, capital T, like to be correct, the whole truth, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Nobody has that. So don't go to anyone for it. When I explain my truth and how and I do believe there's the capital T truth, that's just beyond us. So we're like blind people touching an elephant. Just keep that in mind and don't freak out that you think an elephant's a rope and they think an elephant's like a big floppy blanket. Don't try to convince each other. So I don't go to other people for them to be right and true. I like honest and authentic, and I go to people to get their understanding of things. And I know it's going to be wrong, and my understanding's wrong. So when I'm listening to someone like Jordan Peterson, it's to find out how they experience the world. When you listen to me and try to try on my way of thinking something, it's for the sake of trying out how I'm experiencing it. But yeah, don't try to force anything. And also, anything you have to give, that you're trying to force on a bunch of people that don't want it, someone else wants it. So that's the whole don't cast pearls before swine. Or in the Bible when it says, let those with the ears to hear. Don't worry about people who don't have the ears to hear what you're saying. Focus on the people who have the ears to hear it. I mean, there's lots of other things, but my brain's fucking worn out now. So I think those are like a good starting point of what I would pass on. Dan says, amen, brother. Well said. Thanks. And John Walsh says, honesty is less stressful in the end. Absolutely. And I can't handle any unnecessary stress. All right, that's enough for today. And yeah, nobody told me to take this down. I don't think I said anything I shouldn't have, even when I was ranting. Like, I'm not worried about sharing embarrassing feelings and whatnot. The only thing when I was saying, did I say anything I shouldn't have, was just, did I talk about other people or talk about details? But unless anyone tells me differently, I'm pretty sure I didn't. So I'll just leave this up for the other weirdos to feel less alone. All right, yeah, that's it. So thanks to everyone, whether you just listened or whether you participated, and fucking, I don't know. Maybe I'll be around a whole bunch. Maybe I'll disappear. I have no idea. But no, I have a pretty good feeling I'll be around. And yeah, maybe we'll do the watch party with the actual movie soon. Because that also would be take less energy from me than a party where we just talk for 5 hours. Hey, Nolan, you're still here. You're very welcome for the stream. It's fucking great that someone enjoyed it. Because I was doing it selfishly to try to get everyone back in Arkham. And it really helped. Lunatic love, brother, says Dan. And so, yeah, I'll end on that. I hope everyone out there is doing better than I was today. And if you were doing as bad as I was today, write into the channel. And as soon as I'm feeling up to it, we'll talk. But for everyone else, just, yeah, blessings and lunatic love to all.